Hey pinball fans, welcome to the Winged Monkey installation video. Let's get started. Alright, so here's the kit contents. It's going to come with your monkey, and I'm speeding this up. It just took way too long. So here's the monkey. It comes with an 8-pin plug on the end of it. There you go. And then we have some zip ties, long and short zip ties. Long ones are going to be for running the wire up the split loom in the back of the playfield. Short ones are going to be for the wiring harness that the monkey has on it and to route that through the backboard of the game. Velcro. It's Velcro. It's adhesive. It sticks to the controller box and sticks to your game. What else we got here? Screws. This is what attaches the monkey to the game. It's going to replace your existing screws. This here is a magnet on a stick. It's going to screw into the back of the backboard. This is the cover for the coil that picks up the ball. Power cable. So that's going to plug into the back of the CPU box, and the one end's going to plug into this thing, which is the controller box. It has labels for everything. The IR port for the remote, status LED, and power LED. Let's show through the side of the box there. Remote. This controls the monkey. On the back of it, there's information about what each button does. Of course, we'll go over those in detail as well. All right, let's install.
All right, so let's install the power harness first. Game off, glass off, playfield slid out all the way. And you're going to look in the back left corner of the case that holds the PCBs and the CPU. And you're going to disconnect the black sheath cable from that yellow and black wire 4-pin connector. And that's going to match up directly with one that is provided with the monkey. You can see here. And so you're just going to plug that right in line. It should match up yellow to yellow, black to black. And just reconnect the black sheath cable to the end of it right there. Once those both are plugged in, then we're going to go ahead and route the rest of that cable, the power cable that we're providing, up along the back of the playfield. So that's going to go follow the large black split loom wiring harness that goes from the bottom of the game up into the back of the playfield. And so you can go ahead and cut the large zip ties that are on there and run the black and red cable up through that split loom, or you can just zip tie it to the outside. Either way. The control box for the monkey is going to sit right next to the end of that black split loom tubing. So that's where the end of the wire, the end of the power cable that you're installing will go. All right, turn the game on. Let's open the door and navigate on the menu to the monkey test. Just hitting enter a few times, getting into the device tests, and choosing the monkey test. And then you're going to hit the plus button just a few times to move the monkey into position. And the position we're looking for is the little metal cylinder that connects the monkey platform to the screw mechanism to be just above the backboard. And let's get rid of that old monkey. Unscrew the 2 Phillips screws on top, and we're going to put the coil cover on. It's a black plastic clip-on cover that comes with the monkey. It's painted in the blackest black paint to hide that coil. And we need to install the little slit piece of silicone tubing that goes around the lane guide here, right behind the single castle door. It just slips over the end of the lane guide there. It's slit down the middle, so you can just slide it on there, and it should stay right in place there. Props the door open just a little bit and provides a little cushion for it closing as well. And there are 2 zip ties holding the existing wires for the monkey coil onto the little sled there. There's one right in the middle where that white one is that I'm sort of showing. It won't look exactly like this, but yours is similar. And then there's one also just on the other side near the screw mechanism.
And we're going to install the magnet bracket now. It's this top screw on the back of the backboard that holds the entire monkey mechanism to the backboard. You're going to unscrew that screw and then put in the magnet bracket that you can see installed here. Obviously the magnet faces the monkey and just screws right in that top slot. And it's that time we've all been waiting for. It's monkey time. So grab the monkey. Let's get it ready to install. These 2 back screws that hold the motor cover on, there's one missing there from mine already. I removed it. And the other one on the other side, both of those need to be removed. Those are just for holding the motor cover on while it's shipping. And so we're going to remove those.
Now here's the connector that's on the end of the monkey. As you can see, it's possible to bend it so it's sort of parallel with the rest of the wire, and that's what you're going to need to do here to get it through the back of the monkey carriage. There's a elongated hole in the back there that the current wire goes through, and if you push that wire sort of to the side, you can push the connector through at the same time. So you just make sure it's bent all the way and you slide it through and then you can unbend it. We'll push the rest of the cable through, give it a little help there with one hand and pull it with the other hand, and we'll get it mostly pushed through. So we need to look at a few different things here. I slowed the video way down so you can take a look at them. There are three different sections that need to be in place for the monkey to sit properly on the original metal bracket in the game. And so one of them are these legs that extend down from the monkey platform, and those sort of go in between the two metal parts of the original monkey mounting area in the game. Are my fingers pointing there? And then in the middle of the monkey on the back side, there's a slot that's cut horizontally across. And that slot is to match up with the metal coil bracket that's in the game. So the front of that metal coil bracket is going to sit right inside of the monkey. And I'll light it up here in a second so you can see, but there is a recess made in there for that metal bracket to fit. And so if it doesn't fit in there, then the monkey is not going to sit on the game properly. On the right side of the back of the monkey, there are some wires coming out of the lighting that's on the feet there, and those need to be sort of pushed to the side to make sure that they fit outside of that metal bracket. The last piece that you need to be aware of is the magnet sensor on the back of the monkey. Here it is highlighted. The monkey can be installed with that in place. I've done it a few times that way, and it's possible, but you need to take your time and go really carefully. The other option is to unscrew that sensor from the motor shroud, just temporarily, get the monkey in place, and then screw it back on. Then we're going to take a look here at actually screwing the monkey all the way down onto the platform. But you can see I push it down and everything fits into place when it's correct. I push it back all the way, and now the holes on the top line up, and make sure that the cables are pulled all the way back through. You don't want any slack. And you just grab the two screws that we provide, and those will go right down through the top of the motor shroud and into the holes on the original metal platform.
And finally, one of the most important parts, zip tying the cables into place. So you're going to want to use two different zip ties here. First, the short one, which is just going to go under the rod that connects the monkey platform to the screw mechanism. And you're going to grab that with your hand there and pull it around, and then just put it on loosely just so it's there in place, and you'll be able to cinch it down in just a second. So you can see it's loose there, just sitting there. And then you're going to grab a longer zip tie, and that one is a little more tricky. You're going to want to bend the end of it, and I'll show you that here. Give it a few little creases with your finger, and what that will do is allow it to slide under the threaded rod screw mechanism, and then you'll just move these wires out of the way and slide it under the black plastic piece there, and you see it comes out the bottom. And then what I did was I used my left hand to hold the top of the zip tie, used my right hand to go under the mechanism and push the end upward, and then swapped and took my left hand and grabbed the end of the zip tie that was being pushed up by my right hand and pulled it through. So then you'll have a zip tie going under the black piece, which is in the U bend of the metal there. And then you're going to want to put the top of the zip tie under the cables so it's closer to you. And the bottom of the zip tie, or the pointed end, is going to go on the top side of the cables, if that makes sense. So that it's crossing over the cables when you tighten it down. So now it's pulling the two cables down towards the black piece that the zip tie is going around. And you want to tuck them in there, make sure they're secure, and you'll just cinch that zip tie down a little bit at a time. Make sure you push the cables back down into the onto the rod there, so they have a bit of a 90-degree bend on both sides of the little platform there that they're going around, and then you'll cinch both of those zip ties down pretty well. You want to make sure that the shorter zip tie is aligned with the slot in the backboard. So it's going to be sliding along in that slot. You want to make sure that it's aligned so it's not sliding along inside that slot and causing the monkey to bind up. And just cut the ends of the zip tie off. You can see here I'm using my fingers to slide the monkey down just a little bit at a time without using the game motor. You can slide it down and adjust the zip tie if needed and just make sure the clearances on everything are good. You want to check all around the platform and slide the monkey down far enough that it goes into the slots on the backboard to make sure that the zip tie that's holding those cables on and the cables themselves are passing through all the necessary areas without anything getting bound up. Same thing with the little rubber platform on the back that has the magnet sensor. You want to make sure that that's not hitting anything. And you want to do this in reverse as well. You want to slide it back up to the platform, and you can use the motor in the game to get it close if it's a lot of rotating of the rod, but get it close up to the castle and then slide it up into the castle using your fingers to turn the rod again and make sure that it's not hitting the door, that it's nothing is binding up. Uh, the front of the monkey is not hitting the castle walls if you have the fancy castle walls, and just give it a once over before you actually use the motor to move it up and down. But you should also use the motor to move it up and down before you close up the game. Just slide it all the way down, slide it all the way up. If it binds up at all, don't force it. See what it's binding up, and then adjust to make sure that it goes smoothly up and down. And it's very important to check out the alignment of the magnet here on the back of the monkey. So this arm holds a magnet just in front of the little sensor on the back of the monkey, and you can tilt that arm up and down. And you'll want to make sure that it's aligned pointing right on the back of that little rectangle on the bottom of that sensor. And make sure that the monkey, when it's in its home position, meets right up with that. And also, you want to make sure that the face of the monkey is not hitting this wall if you have the fancier back alley creations walls in your game. And you can adjust that. There's a bracket here, a metal bracket that's on the back of that wall, and the screws that attach to the wall have a slot in the bracket that they can slide on. And also, you can bend the bracket and just move it around a little bit. You just want to make sure that the door can still open. And now we'll go back to the settings menu and bring the monkey up very slowly back to its home position. If you've checked all the clearances manually by hand, then you should be pretty confident that it won't hit anything. Make sure you do manually rotate the rod and move it up to approximately its home position to make sure that it's not going to hit anything. Then you bring the monkey back all the way up to the top. It will stop once it gets to its home position, and then you can go ahead and check that magnet again to make sure it's in the right position approximately. All right, so go ahead and lift up the playfield now, and we're going to install the controller box. The controller box is going to plug into the power cable that you run up through the split loom tubing there in the back of the playfield. And here are the two connectors we're going to be looking at. There's a power connector, which is right here, and that goes into the smaller. And then, of course, there's the monkey connector, which should be hanging down behind your playfield. We have some Velcro that comes with the controller box. Go ahead and apply it to the back of the controller box. And we're going to stick the controller box up into the bottom of the playfield. And here's a close-up of where it goes, just right on top of that screw that sticks up out of the playfield. Seems to be about the best place for it, for the remote to hit it from inside the door of the game. The holes in the controller box are going to be facing forward once you adhere the controller box to the playfield. So go ahead and plug the power cable in. There's a raised stripe on it, and that's going to go up towards the label side. And there are also two raised stripes on the 8-pin cable, and those also point upwards. And there are the holes in the side of the controller box. Those are pointing forward towards the front of the game. And as soon as you plug in those two plugs, the monkey may come to life if the magnet is not aligned properly. It takes a second for the monkey to initialize, but after it does, if the magnet is not directly over the magnet sensor, then the monkey could start flapping its wings. And so that would be the time when you want to put the playfield back down and adjust that magnet to make sure that it's directly over the sensor so the monkey is not moving. That would be the home position, and the monkey should not be moving when it's in the home position. At this point, the monkey installation is done.
All right, let's look at programming the monkey and using the remote. So I'm referencing the remote that came in the monkey kit. You can see it here. And we're going to use almost all the buttons on here. I'll go through each one so you know what they do, but also on the back of the remote, there is a reference guide like that. So when the monkey is at home, up at the castle with the magnet sensing on the back, then the monkey will be off, just like it is now. You can change two different settings while it's off, the eyes and the feet. So those are the numbers 1 through 4 and 5 through 8. If you try to change the wings settings while it's in the home position, you'll get a flashing purple light just like that on the eyes and nothing will happen. We want the wings only to be changed when the monkey's out of the home position so they don't hit anything up at the castle. So hitting the number 1 button, whether the monkey's in the home position or not, will start the eyes going into whatever effect, brightness, color, and speed that they're currently set at. Right now I have mine set at a slow fade in and out and they're red. And since I hit the number 1 button, that's going to be changing the color. Using the up and down arrows will increase or decrease the color setting, and I think there are about 50 different color settings, and it just wraps around the rainbow. So it starts at about a red and goes all the way back around to white. So I can increase it just one at a time by hitting the up arrow, and you can see it's yellow, and then it will go to green. Or I can hold down the up arrow. It cycles through the colors fairly quickly. The last color or the first color, when you exceed those, the eyes will flash with a red and green. One eye will be red, one eye will be green. The green indicates which direction you're going. So if I hold the up arrow down until we get to the end here, you'll see that they flash with the green eye on the right, which means that we are going up, and now it's back around to the beginning. If I hit the down arrow once, they'll flash, and the green eye is on the left, and now we're at a white setting. That's the last setting that's available. So you can sort of understand where you're at in the sequence of the color options and also the brightness, etc. So hitting number 2 now will give me the brightness options, and you can just do that anytime in the settings. You don't have to exit the settings to change. I'm at probably the brightest setting right now, and so if I hit up, they'll flash and show me that I went to the very lowest setting, and you can see they're very dim. And the speed is increased because there are fewer levels of brightness for the fade to affect over in the same amount of time. We'll set it back to a higher brightness setting so you can see it. And that's the highest, so I'm going to go back down. There we go. And then I can hit number 3, which is the effect. And you can see the eyes sort of flash each time you hit one of the buttons, just to give you an idea that something was pressed. So I'm on effect 2 right now. So if I go up, now you can see we went from a fade in and out together to a fade in and out individually, or alternating. Now this is effect number 4, which is flashing together, and then 5 is flashing alternately and back around to number 1, which is solid. So those are the 5 different effects. The same things hold true for the feet as for the eyes. So I'm going to go up into one of the effects here. Let's go with the blinking and hit number 4 on the remote, and now it's going to let me change the speed of the blinking. There are about 10 speeds, I believe, so we can cycle through those speeds and make it go faster. And again, once you get to the fastest, it will show you that and go back to the slowest. So you can have a really slow blink if you want, or back to a very rapid, crazy looking eye. So those are the eye settings. If I go now to number 5, it will light up the feet. And a little hard to see with the lights I have on here, but you can see that the feet are lit up, and you can do all the same settings and effects with those. So for example, I can change the color. We're getting a purple, violet, red, all the way around, red, orange, yellow, etc. I have the fading left and right on the feet right now. You can sort of see it's going on either side of my finger. And so whenever you're done making any change, all you need to do is hit the OK button right in the center there, and that will save all your changes, whatever you've made, and the monkey will go back to its regular
state, whatever the state it should be in, if it's home or not. So right now I still have a magnet attached back here that's telling the monkey it's home. So if I hit OK, it's going to go back to its state of nothing. It's in sleep right now. If I try to hit one of the wing buttons, as I said earlier, it flashes purple and you can't do anything. So what you need to do is go into the monkey test in the game and move the monkey away from home, just a few presses, similar to when you installed it. And then the monkey will start flapping its wings, and you'll be able to then change the wing speeds and settings, the effect settings at that time. So I'll remove the magnet and I'll press either the star or the pound sign. The star is the effect change, and the pound sign will change the speed. There are 3 effects for the wings. I'll tell you about those now before I start it, because it is a little loud with the camera right here. But the first effect is just the wings flapping constantly, just as the eyes are on constantly with the first setting. And the second setting for the wings is alternating. So with the wings, they flap at the same time, but the alternating will be the motor turning on and off occasionally. So it will flap the wings and then stop, flap the wings and then stop. And then the third setting would be the wings flapping randomly. So it'll flap for a little bit, randomly stop, randomly start. So there's a few changes you can mess with there to see what you like the best. And then, of course, the speed. Would be careful with the lowest speeds. Sometimes that can not be enough power to start the wings flapping. So if that happens to you, it's fine. Just increase the speed setting on the wings and you should be fine. The worst case scenario, you might have to give the wings a little nudge to get them going. But once the speed is high enough, they'll be fine. The eyes will turn a green and a yellow, so you know that the wing settings are being adjusted at that time. And so I'll do that now. So the settings I applied to the eyes and the feet are going on right now because the monkey's flying. And now I'll hit the star key. And so the wings keep flapping. The lights on the feet have gone off and the eyes are showing you that it's in the wing setting mode. So I can change it now, hit it up once, and now it's alternating on and off. And then this is the sort of start and stop randomly effect. And then we're back around to the beginning. So this is the wings constantly going. And then I'll hit the pound key, and you can hear and see that the wings are increasing in speed. And then I went around all the way to the slowest speed. So now I'll go back to the highest speed. And those are your 2 options, fastest and slowest for the wings. Again, once you're done, just hit the OK. And now it's back to the state it should be in when it's functioning normally. And because it's away from home, it's doing what it should. But if I put the magnet back here, it will stop as if it's home. Those are the settings for the monkey.